Oh, no. Are the Jazz going to be too good? It's the lead question on today's edition of Ask LOJ, and it's next on Locked on Jazz. Pow.
You are Locked on Jazz, your daily podcast on the Utah Jazz. Part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day.
How are you? Welcome to Locked on Jazz, and thank you for making Locked on the number one podcast network in the, sports podcast network. I said that wrong. I was actually more bothered. I hate this when, my bed's in the background of a YouTube video. All right. Anyway, we are live in Phoenix, first of the 5-game road trip tonight. I am David Locke, radio voice of the Utah Jazz, Jazz NBA insider, and this is Locked on Jazz. It's your daily podcast on the Utah Jazz, giving you insight, expertise, geeky numbers, and hopefully making it way better to be a Jazz fan each and every day. Thank you so much for making Locked on Jazz your first listen of the day. We are free and available on all podcasting apps and on YouTube. Thank you for making Locked On the number one sports podcast network. There we go. Did it correctly. And to the everydayers, you're amazing. You're awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in each and every day. It is an Ask LOJ edition. I love these. We'll get to them as often as the case. Our kind of questions come in a bunch. We'll close the show with the ever important why do I have 09 on the end of all of my handles. I love a question we get at the end about what I watched, what you should watch when you're watching a game. A lot of Keyonte George questions, a lot of Lauri Markkanen questions. We're back at it on an issue like, are we really flipping doing this again? I don't know that I'm going to keep myself together, but I will tell you I have a visceral, sickening, frustrated reaction when I get one or two of these questions and I put my fingers into my forehead and dig in with anguish and angst and then say, Piputa, and calm yourself. Okay, I don't know. That's a joke to kind of, if you listen to my summer. And a bunch of other questions. But let's start with the number one question I got. Oh my gosh, are we going to be too good? It's kind of where this organization has put itself, to be perfectly honest. I do not have a problem with this question. I have problems with others, and maybe they're all related. But frankly, we played this game long enough. We now have our fans thinking whether or not we're going to be too good. I don't think we're going to be too good. I am concerned that others are going to be too bad. New Orleans is an absolute dumpster fire and do not have their first-round pick. Atlanta has their first-round pick. It's top 3 protected, I think. New Orleans is an absolute dumpster fire. I don't know what Joe Dumars, who does not have a great track record as a GM, is going to do next. We probably should hold a conversation on whether we want Zion Williamson because they're a mess. I think their differential to start the year is like a minus 19 right now. It is absolutely a mess. So there's a team that I think is tanking that you didn't expect to have tank. My concern on whether the Jazz are too good is that I actually think the tank train is going to get really full here really fast. When the year started, the tank train was supposed to only be Washington, Brooklyn, and we weren't going to be very good, but we weren't going to be playing that game. And Charlotte wasn't going to be very good, but they weren't playing that game. And that was it. Well, guess what? We're a week into the NBA season, and I can tell you right now that New Orleans is really a mess. Frankly, the team we're playing tonight's not good. Now, maybe when Dylan Brooks and Jalen Green get back, but right now, they were 2-19 when Durant didn't play last year, and they look every bit that team right now. Brooklyn is not good. Washington is not good. And frankly, Indiana and Boston are worse than I thought they would be. I think Indiana or Boston could pull the ripcord really fast. And the wild card in here is Sacramento. They're not very good either. They're 1-4. Their only win is against us. So I actually think the unfortunate thing is that it's not that we're too good and we're better than everybody expected. It's the tank train could get really long here, really fast with lots of cars on it. But the Pelicans are being outscored by 19 points per 100 possession. Brooklyn is terrible. We knew that was coming. Brooklyn and Washington will be the two worst teams in the NBA. They will win 15 games. But I'm a little concerned that Phoenix, Indiana, Sacramento, New Orleans could join the party. And then we're in trouble because we do not want to lose this first-round pick. So is there a chance we're too good? Maybe, but the bigger problem, frankly, is that the other teams could be really terrible. And we do not want to lose this first-round pick. That is, I don't care. Like, we can say all the things we want to say. We do not want to lose this first-round pick. Because next year's draft is bad, and we still need to add a lot of talent. Why do you think the Jazz are playing better than people expected? I think there's a togetherness to this group. I think the oxygen that was opened up by the departure of Colin, John, and Jordan led to a really good camp, people being really engaged, and some super energy to start. Some of that will wear off as the year goes on and it gets hard. Not like in a bad way, it's just that wears off. 2, Lauri came out of Eurobasket playing really, really well. 3, Will Hardy is doing very creative things on the offensive end, and teams have not adapted to it yet. I think as of right now, our offense ranks 7th in the NBA, which is probably higher than we should expect. The other ones played bad teams. Like, we played the Clippers, who I'm not sure where they fit, but they weren't very good on opening night. We killed them, but they weren't good. We played Sacramento, who is 1-4. We played Phoenix, who's 1-4, and I think might be really bad. And we played a Portland team that is now, I guess, 3-2, but I'm not totally sold on that. So that's a little bit. And then we're going to do it again. So we're playing Phoenix tonight. Charlotte, who's actually, I think, 3-2 on the year and a little better than people expect. 2-3 on the year, but not great. Not defending at all, I think. And then we play Boston, who's not good. So this is a good start of a schedule for us to get some confidence, feel good about ourselves, and then the gauntlet starts. What is Boston's 2-3 with the 5th best differential in the NBA? They're defending, so they'll pass. But I think that's also part of it. Is there one item right now that you think is most unsustainable? We were recently the number 1 spot-up shooting team in the NBA. And I don't think that is sustainable. The other one I would say is I think have grabbed 45%. I don't think this is true. We've grabbed 45% of our missed shots in the last 2 games. So our offensive rebounding rate in the last 2 games is 45%. That's not sustainable. Back to the spot-up shooting number. I think it's down a little bit. Our catch and shoot after the last game has come down to 38%, which is getting to be more realistic, frankly. Charlotte's best in the NBA right now at 43%. Washington's second best at 43%. That's and Houston, who doesn't take many catch and shoots, is third best at 42%. I don't think any of those 3 are likely. Utah was in that group before the last game. Those are not going to be the 4 best shooting teams in the NBA. I'm just about certain of it. Is all of this because of Ace Bailey's illness, or is there more to it? No, this is exactly what most of us thought was going to happen with Ace Bailey. And then Ace Bailey got sick. And actually, let me rephrase this. This is about everything we expected out of Ace Bailey. And then Ace Bailey had 2 preseason games that were just mind-blowing about how talented he is. And then Ace Bailey got sick, and I think he fell behind. But then also we went to regular season basketball. And I just don't think you can underestimate enough how different regular season basketball is to NBA basketball. You have all the real guys on the floor, everything else. Ace, last game is kind of exactly what I expected of Ace Bailey this year. He made 2 or 3 jumpers. I'd like to see him get to the rim. He loves his mid-range at a level that makes it so that he is going to pull into that way before he's ever going to go to the basket. He is 6'9". I would like to see him to learn how to go to the basket. And every time he goes to the basket right now, he misjudges how fast all the defenders are. He gets himself in trouble and he turns it over. Okay, and I want to see that. That's exactly what happens to young kids. This is not a surprising thing. And if you actually look at Ace Bailey the last 3 games, or particularly the last 2 games, he's made some shots. He missed 6 in a row in the second game. But I think his plus minuses and I don't really believe in per game plus minus, but these are pretty telling. -15, -17, and -19. Okay. So what does that represent? That's that he just has no idea what's going on the floor right now. And that's exactly what I expected out of the kid. So actually last game's exactly what I expected. Hits a bunch of jumpers, makes some plays. He didn't actually drive to the basket and lose the ball. And he got murdered defensively and led while he was on the floor. We were -17. That's 100% what I anticipate from Ace Bailey this year. And as the year goes on, those minutes increase and he gets a little more comfortable and does a little bit more things and starts to make less mistakes and then makes them again and then starts to make less mistakes. It's all part of the process. Young kids are not good in the NBA. That's the truth. I don't know how I'm supposed to react to this next question. I'm not sure how I am going to react to this next question. It's the one that makes me put my fingernails deep into my forehead with anguish. And it's next on Locked on Jazz. I want to make sure you know about a big deal going over at Murdoch right now. The Murdoch Auto Team has welcomed its newest addition, the Murdoch Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Bountiful. That's right. Murdoch has added Murdoch Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Bountiful, located on 500 West in West Bountiful. And today, final day of October, 0% for 6 years on a new Ram 1500. When you walk through their doors, you feel like family. That is the Murdoch way. And that's what's going on over at Murdoch Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Bountiful. It is the brand new Murdoch location. They've added it to the Murdoch Hyundais and the rest. Go check it out at Murdoch Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Bountiful. Today's show is also brought to you by DoorDash. When someone goes for 50, which is happening seemingly a lot. I don't think it happened last night. If it did, I missed it. Lauri did this for you. Then you get to get into the bag all season long. When you're watching your highlights, your fantasy team, or just your favorite player, DoorDash makes every game night even better. DoorDash is the official on-demand delivery platform of the NBA, and they're celebrating with something they call the bag drop. Every time an NBA player scores 50 in a game, DoorDash drops 50% off your order with Dash Pass the next day, and you're automatically entering for a chance to win the ultimate fan bag. We're talking player-inspired drip, exclusive gear, stuff you actually want. So DoorDash has you covered for late-night highlights, last-minute watch parties, and double OT fuel-ups. So next time someone goes off for 50, use the promo code NBA50 the next day to get 50% off on DoorDash with Dash Pass, plus a shot at the bag drop. Dash Pass members only 50% off up to $10 the day after a 50-point game with promo code terms apply. No purchase necessary. Ends April 13th. Open to U.S. residents 21 or older. Visit DoorDash.com for full details. DoorDash in your bag all season long. Thanks so much for making Locked on Jazz your first listen of the day. We are free and available on all podcasting apps. And thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. All right. How do I react to this? What does Svi have on Will Hardy and Austin Ainge? Perhaps the Jazz should play Sensabaugh and Cody Williams more minutes. Okay. So I have a bunch of reactions here. One is, have you not watched the game? Do not watch the game. And that's mean, so I'm going to bypass that. My second one is like, are we really here already? We're really doing this again? Because my next question is, the Jazz got rid of Clarkson, Sexton, and Collins to play rookies. End games with Cody, Ace, and Hendricks. What? We need to know the players. Let Svi go to a team that needs him. Really? We just... I have such mixed reactions. Like, what? Svi's playing great. He's been amazing. It's helped us play well. We've played well for 4 games in a row. We've been highly entertaining and enjoyable. Why are we here again? Why are we doing this again? I don't want to do this again. On the other end, frankly, we've done this long enough. I can't blame you for having the mindset. Like, it's a little bit of like, we discussed whether you've ruined the culture of a team by all the stuff we've done for the last 3 years. And I actually don't believe that, because you change the players, but you don't change the fans. And so maybe we've ruined the culture of the fans. I think that's a really legitimate discussion, actually. So let me say that again. I always hear this stuff about like, oh, you're doing the tanking and losing on purpose and losing and being bad, and you're going to ruin the culture of your team. You're actually not ruining the culture of your team, because the fact of the matter is you bring in one good player, and if they're really good, they change the culture of your team, and it all goes away. It's the truth. Like Oklahoma City did this. It didn't ruin the culture of their team. Houston did this. It didn't ruin the culture of their team. And that's the truth. But maybe it ruined the culture of the fan base. That might be 100% true. So maybe this is completely legitimate. Everyone's thinking the same thing. Svi started game 1 because Ace Bailey was sick. Ace Bailey was supposed to start. Hadn't practiced for 6 days because of the knee and the sickness. And then Svi played great. Great. He's been amazing. And Ace Bailey hasn't been. And now it's just kind of there. Like, it just happened. And until Ace Bailey's ready, or until something else changes, that's where we are. We're playing really great. Everyone's playing well. It's been super entertaining. We've been highly energetic. Everything's been good. And we're going to bitch about this. Like, that kills me. That's where the fingernails go into the forehead. And I got to take my 3 deep breaths and try to figure out what am I answering on this? Because this kills me. Because we have been so highly entertaining, and yet we're going to sit around and bitch about Svi, who's been awesome. Awesome. And a great conduit, and played the game perfectly, and busted his ass defensively, and moved the ball, and taking shots when he's needed to, and taking the flying bags that he gets hit with late in the shot clock, and done all the things that everybody who played that position for the last 2 years, who's no longer in this roster, did not do. He's been great. And facilitated everything. And we're going to complain because we only want to see the young kids, regardless if they can play a lick or not, or if they're playing well. Regardless. That's literally what we're saying. Please, let's not go back here. Please, let's not go back here. You know what Svi's done? He's played great. He got in the starting lineup accidentally for 4 games so far. Let's see how long it lasts. And he's been great. And you know why Cody Williams hasn't played? Because he wasn't as good as everyone else in training camp. And that is actually a standard by which a basketball team should function. We just can't decide that we're ending games with Cody Williams, Ace Bailey, and Taylor Hendricks, regardless of how they're playing. Taylor is busting his ass right now. He has not played in a year. If you watch basketball, it is abundantly clear, at least once or twice, every single time he's on the floor, that he has not played basketball in a year. Let him have some time. Cody Williams played great in the 4th quarter the other night. Maybe that'll earn him some more minutes. But let's not go here again. Let's not. It's so unpleasant. We've done it so much recently. It all goes back to Alec Burks and Randy Foye. Please, let's not do it again. Is Ace ready to play more minutes? He looked good last game, but not sure about his conditioning after illness. Would really like to see him get his rhythm more. I think the way he's going to get his rhythm, honestly, and this is really tricky. He's never come off the bench in his entire life, and so he now has to learn how to play these kind of weird, different styles. I think as he gets a little bit better, I think the longer stretches he can be on the court will be better for him, right? He's used to playing long stretches. So if he's going to come off the bench, can he play 2, 10, 12-minute stretches at a time? His conditioning doesn't really allow that right now. But that, I think, would be better for Ace, that if he's going to come in at like the 6-minute mark, he goes to the 6-minute mark and he stretches it out for 10 or 12 minutes with a quarter break in the middle, and he kind of just gets into a flow of a game. He's probably ready for more minutes physically at this point. His game is probably not ready for more minutes at this point. Again, I'm not a big believer in game-to-game plus-minus, but when it's 3 games in a row of minus 16, minus 17, and minus 19, probably is telling you something out there, that he's not quite seeing defensive reactions, understanding quite how to do things. Like, that's fine. That's part of the process. So I think he's probably, honestly, I think the 22 minutes a night right now of him kind of coming in and I just would like to see it be, I think it'd be better for Ace if it's in longer stints rather than 22 minutes. Can you get him 22 minutes of 2 11-minute stints instead of getting him 22 minutes and have it be 24 minutes of 4 6-minute stints? I think that's an unnatural way for him to play right now. But he is not he's shooting 25% and 22% from 3, and he hit a few shots the other day. This is kind of what I expected. Preseason showed me how brilliantly skilled he is and how good he can be. And those things are all real, and he needs to learn how to play, and he'll amp it up 22, whatever, some odd minutes a game here coming up as time continues. I think he'll get to 22 minutes here fairly quickly. What is Lauri Markkanen's future? Comes back again. And I love this one. And 2 fun questions at the end. Also, you say you don't believe in players jumping year 1 to year 2. Is there any player jumping year 1 to year 2 that should get actually mentioned? Oh, that's interesting. There's 2. They're on the same team. I watched them the other night. They actually both look good. I'll give those to you in just a moment here on Locked on Jazz. Today's show is brought to you by Robinhood Gold, the new gold standard. Your ambition just met its match with Robinhood. You play for the win, not just on game day, but every day, locking in on every opening, beating your PR, beating it again. Channel that drive into your money. Robinhood puts you in control of your money. Trade stocks and ETFs, options, futures, and cryptos all on one platform. You can now build and execute your own trades from a desktop with Robinhood's Legends advanced tools, or take advantage of new Robinhood strategies with tailored portfolio managed by a team of experts. You expect more from yourself, expect more from your money. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. That's Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that's Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move. Today's show is also brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of Locked On. The NBA's back. No better place to get in the action than FanDuel. FanDuel is the official sports betting partner of the NBA. If you missed the start of a game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. So right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets with your first $5 bet. Wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. I think I just got a notification that the Jazz Suns line has moved again. It bouncing today between 2.5 and 3.5, I think, on the FanDuel Sportsbook. Let's check it out for the NBA tonight. Jazz underdogs. Also, Game 6 of the World Series is available for you on FanDuel. The Jazz at FanDuel, the Suns are a 3-point favorite over the Utah Jazz in tonight's game. NFL coming up this weekend. Some good ones taking place as Green Bay is a monster 13.5-point favorite. We got some big lines on the NFL side this week at 8.5-point and Rams at 14.5. I haven't seen lines that big in a long time along the way. BYU is still favored over bye this week. Isn't BYU have their bye week this week? I think that's right. It's all at FanDuel.com. Thanks so much for making Locked On Jazz your first listen, and thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network in the country. All right, let's keep going. What is Lauri Markkanen's future with the Jazz? Do you believe they'll build around him, and do we trade him to incredible stars? I still believe it. Lauri Markkanen will be on the Jazz the next time we play a playoff game. I've said this 1,000 times. This week only reconfirms it. He's a valuable, important piece. He's great. We can build around him, and we want to be good again one day, and we need him to be on the roster to be good. What do we do with Cody Williams? We let him develop. Cody Williams was the youngest player in the draft last year. He should have never played a minute in the NBA. He should have played G League only, but we were bad, so we let him play. And if we had played him all year in the G League last year like he should have and let him develop, then this year he would be sitting here kind of in a comfortable position where he just played 10 minutes, and we'd be hoping, it would be very excited because he played great, and we'd let him develop naturally. But he's way physically behind last year. He's gotten better, and now we're seeing this. So I think you do exactly that. You keep saying you don't believe in players jumping year 1 to year 2, and are there any players to jump year 2? The reason I say this, I don't think Isaiah and Kyle will be better this year. I just don't see it. But yes, so far this year, Keyshawn George in Washington looks completely different. I mean, obviously, I say this is like the trend. No, there are exceptions to the rule. Most players year 1 to year 2. So Keyshawn George looks absolutely terrific. It's 5 games, but it'll be interesting to see that generally that entire rookie class still continues to be one of the truly worst rookie classes in the NBA history. Alex Sarr looks pretty good, which he's really talented. And then AJ Mitchell is an incredible story. Oklahoma City, second-round draft pick 2 years ago, is averaging 19 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and playing just brilliant basketball. So those 3 have jumped. The other one that I'm not surprised seems to be had kind of hit at the end of last year's Matthias Bazulis for Chicago. Looks good. Right now, honestly, if you look at that draft class, there looks like there's literally only going to be 4 or 5 rotation players in that entire draft class. I mean, it's stunning how bad that draft class is. The other one I would say is in Keyonte's draft class. Keyonte's jumped. Like, Keyonte's eye-opening in how he's playing. Victor, obviously, is having a monster year. Jarice Walker is taking advantage of his opportunities in Indiana and looks like he might be able to play a little. But Keyonte, by the way, is leading that draft class in minutes played per game. Otherwise, I'm not sure anybody else. Ben Shepherd's getting a lot of opportunity, but I thought he looked completely outclassed in a game when I watched him. Anthony Black started yesterday for Orlando, looked a little bit better. Otherwise, I'd actually say there's a bunch of guys in that draft class that are going the other way right now in Keontae's draft class, which is surprising to me. I think Grady Dick looks less good than he did before. Cam Whitmore still isn't coming around. I thought Jalen Clark, who was pretty good last year, doesn't look great. Jordan Hawkins in New Orleans doesn't look great. Like, there's actually more guys going the other direction than that. Keyonte's strides on offense are apparent, but what strides, if any, on the defense? Oh, I thought he was the one guy who didn't get blown by all night the other night. No, he's playing really well on both ends and really engaged. It's really awesome. While Keyonte's growth is awesome, is there a little legitimate worry about Bryce when his shots aren't falling, he isn't contributing enough in other areas? Oh, yeah. No, that's, I'm not like, oh, yeah, like a concern, but no, that's 100% the Bryce Sensabaugh issue. Like, he is a great dead-eye shooter. He has to do other things. Actually, if you kind of, and we talked about this in the offseason, if you're an everydayer, that player who just makes shots is actually kind of not that in vogue in the NBA right now. The Tamari Kamara, Herb Jones, defensive-minded player who kind of hits shots is in vogue because the difference between somebody making shots right now is 38% versus 34%. Like, everybody can shoot now. And since everybody can shoot, like, everyone shoots 34 to 35%. While it's a big deal over 100 shots makes a lot of difference. It's a lot of shots, right? So if you're taking 3 or 4 threes a game and one guy's shooting 33% and one guy's shooting 38%, you don't actually see this difference. It's 20 games worth of shots. You only see the difference of a makes. That's 5 makes. you only see it once every 4 games. Right? Like, think about that. You're taking 5 threes a game. You shoot 33 versus 38%. It means over a course of 100 shots, you make 5 more. That's all it means. So if it's taking 5 shots a game, that's 20 games. You only feel that difference 1 every 4 games, which means the 33% shooter versus the 38% shooter is almost immaterially different if one can defend and the other can't. So the 38% shooter, Bryce Sensabaugh, who can't defend or rebound or do other stuff, has become less valuable in this league than the Tamari Kamara or Herb Jones, who shoots 33% but defends, rebounds, steals, and does all the other stuff. It's very simple. So, yeah, that's a big concern right now because everybody can shoot. It used to be that the difference was your 38% shooter is playing or your 27% shooter is playing. Now, that's a big difference. That's 10 shots. That shows up once a night. That's 3 points a night. That's massive. Or shows up every other night. It's 1.5 points. That's massive. But we're talking about 0.6 points, 0.4 points, 0.3 point difference on a given night between a 33 and a 38% three-point shooter. And if they're doing all these other things, then that 0.3 or 0.8 comes back around. Is Isaiah Collier going to be a factor into all this when he returns? I know he'll be in the G League for a bit to ramp up. I don't know where Isaiah Collier gets minutes, to be just 100% honest. I have the same thought, the same wonder. I don't know how he's playing. I don't know. Walter Clayton Jr. is playing really well. Keyonte looks comfortable as a point guard. I do not know where Isaiah Collier's minutes come in. Who do I see breaking out? Final 2 questions, fun ones. Where do you look when you're watching for the broadcast? When newer to basketball, I used to follow the ball, but now I find myself now following players, even if they're off ball. I imagine that you can't do that. So, truthfully, well, I don't know why I'd be anything else. I call the game, and I go home and watch it. And when I watch it, I watch off the ball. I do have a few little tricks I've added to the mix where Ron and I actually, for those of you who are listening to the in-arena exclusive broadcast, know we do this. There'll be certain plays that will happen, and I'll write them down while the game's going on, and I can now have a program where I can go back during a commercial break to look at a play to see how we got what we got so I can understand what's happening maybe for later plays. But I'm probably the only one in the world doing that. So that's what I watch the ball during the game because I have to, and then I go rewatch the game to actually understand what happened. That's why I'm not very good on postcast, if you want the truth. Postcast, I really ask Ron every question imaginable because I didn't see the game, and then I go back at home and watch it, and then I think I'm better the next day. What is the significance of 09 in your social handles? So the answer to 09 in your social handles is it was Roy Hobbs' number in the natural. It was Mark Marcus's number, who was the head coach at Stanford when I was a kid, and they were the best baseball team in the country. I think it was Ted Williams' number, who's like one of the best baseball players ever. There's another kind of obscure, significant number 9, but Roy Hobbs' natural was the first one. And it's the number I wore when I was a not very good player and played Division III baseball with a California zip code for an ERA. So that's the answer. That's why all my handles have 09. All right, that is Locked On Jazz today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Tune in tonight, SiriusXM, NBA Audio League Pass, KSL Sports Radio, Sports Zone, and now on Jazz Plus on Multicast. I understand it's not on Amazon Fire. I'll get an update for you on all those people on that. Thank you very much. You guys are great. Have a wonderful time. It is Locked On Jazz. We now send you the first ever national 24/7 NBA channel, Locked On NBA. Or check out Locked On NBA game night after every game, after all the games, every game, every night.